and it's the Whoopforge with another Batman Miniatures game, Arkham Files. In this episode, we are doing the free agent variation of Edward Nygma himself, the Riddler. So this variation of Riddler is the Arkham City, Arkham Asylum version. And the thing about this guy is that he's now an exclusive that you can only purchase through the Knights Models web store. So if you want to get him, I'll put a link in the description below, but he's only available there. Anyhow, so it's been a while since I've done these. So Edward, a little taster. He does a lot of debuffing. He does it well. He's quality for his rep. So we'll go with it. We'll go off the floor. We'll go through the names and stuff, all the small print before we hit onto the heavy things. So his name's Edward Nygma. His alias is the Riddler. No brackets, nothing else apart from that. He's a rank that's free agent, and he's affiliate unknown, so he can go into every gang apart from those that he hates, which I'll go into further detail later on. So we'll go through his stats now. His willpower is 6, average for a free agent. Strength 5+. Nygma was never known for being Bane, now was he? So I would say it's a fair strength for him. Movement 3, so he gets around the place, a little bit above average for a free agent. Attack and defense 3, standard for a free agent. Endurance 6, standard for a free agent. Special 3, standard for all army, all forces of every model, every wide. So we've got that. He has a weapon, and that is his question baton, the thing he wields in that hand. So it's a melee weapon, so it doesn't have rate fire of ammo, but it does 2 stun damage. It's handy, so he gets to reroll his hits, which is always quite handy. Oh, yeah, I know, pun, I'll get me caught, but still. So it's a handy, and has crit shock. Now, shock, if I remember correctly, is stun. It's just been re-updated to the keyword stun. And stun basically means if you damage your opponent, your opponent cannot spend any counters at all. Literally just been struck in the back of the head and now he's dazed. So again, that's not too bad. Again, it's strength 5+, it's hard to get through, but if it does, your opponent's not going to like what's been sent his way. Or her way, or whatever. So, his personal traits. His first one is confusion. Confusion is basically that you have to spend 2 special counters, target an enemy model within 20 centimeters of the Riddler. Their attack and defense stats go down by 1. So already that's a major thing. It has an additional thing. It also has an additional ability where the target cannot spend special counters this round. So again, this is quite a meaty character already just from one trait. So he can make Deathstroke attack and defense 4. He can make Batman attack and defense 4, and they can't spend special counters. So if you went and did that on, say, the likes of Mr. Freeze, and just kept spending 2 special counters against Mr. Freeze, the Arkham Knight version, he can't do his Ice Flash instantly. That's a big thing that will hit gangs hard. He has Disarray, and Disarray for a special counter. So in one turn you can do Disarray and Confusion from all your special counters. Basically, Disarray, for one special counter, you get rearrange 2 of your opponent's action counters. So 2 is counters or her counters anywhere. So what does that really mean? Well, if you're not going up against Joker, because Joker likes his trickster on all his henchmen, usually, unless you go with Titan version, but I'm digressing. Or if you go against another trickster model, basically you can really change the outcome of the roll of that model that turn. So if you go up to a henchman, he's ready, he's going to be in attack, he's going to add some support to a heavy hitter, you go Disarray, change 2 counters. If your Confusion didn't really work out the way you wanted to, you could just do Disarray. Or if you wanted to sprint and still affect, for example, Mr. Freeze Arkham Knight variant to stop him from using Ice Flash, you can rearrange 2 of his counters from, say, special to defense. Yes, special to defense makes him harder to defend again. Well, it's harder for him to attack him, but he's not using Ice Flash that turn. Again, I'm just using Ice Flash as an example because it's a hard rule that can be counteracted, and Riddler is perfect for things like this. I'm just saying about how hard these rules can be and how key they can be. I'm not comparing like who's better, I'm just saying how hard something can be. I feel like I'm repeating myself, so let's go on to the next one. So, he hits basically the good guys. Batman, Green Arrow, Batman, Green Arrow, Law Forces. Okay. So he can't go with the good guys in sorts, which kind of fits Nygma. Obviously, he was with the law in Gotham and stuff like that, but I can guarantee some point in time, maybe not this year, maybe in a few years' time, they're releasing Eddie Nygma for law and organised crime. Mastermind basically adds a dice to your pool. Basically adds one dice to the pool. So, in short, it can counteract or counterbalance the Chaos Agent rule by taking a counter away, then adding it back again. So you'll have a number of turns. Or if your opponent doesn't have Chaos Agent, it adds an extra one, so it gives you more chances to go first, which is, that's big. In addition, you can roll 2 dice and pick the highest when solving a riddle objective. Next, he has Puzzle Master, and Puzzle Master allows him to basically manipulate for full 3 victory points when you're trying to solve a riddle marker automatically. So basically, you spend a movement counter, manipulate, instantly get 3 victory points, which suits Edward Nygma just fine since he created the damn thing. So I can't really argue with that, can you? In addition, enemy models cannot reroll attempts to solve riddles under any circumstances. So, in short, you can automatically solve puzzles like that, and your opponent can't solve riddles as easy as they could to try and get the maximum 3 victory points for their own or your riddle markers. So again, that's a very big thing, something I'm very happy with. And he has Trickster. So, in short, Trickster, like in the Joker's Arkham Files, if you haven't seen them already, before you activate the model, you can rearrange the counters anywhere you like. So yeah, so if your opponent takes a few special off you, that's okay. Put them back, replacing from attack into special. Yep. So been through stats. Special traits none. His reputation is 69. Oh, I know people. 69. People like that number for the memes. And he is $0 funding, so he's quite cheap. For his, he's free for his funding. So, we'll go through his strengths. Edward Nygma's strength is that he debuffs, and for 69 rep, he is quality for what he does. Absolute quality. He can just skulk around, use a flank maneuver, hit an enemy hardest. Literally, you can just debuff. There's a target you want to debuff, like Deathstroke or Mr. Freeze, usually leaders or beat sticky free agents. He comes around, absolutely confuses them, says, riddle me this, riddle me that. And in short, your opponent's really aggressive character can still be aggressive, but not as aggressive as before. It does take that chip off its shoulder, of whatever you're targeting's shoulder. So it is he's quality. He is absolute quality. In addition, if you pick Riddler, you're going to want to pick riddle markers because you want to get them as close as you can and then just waltz up and solve them. Meaning that if Riddler's doing that, as well as debuffing by using flank maneuvers, most likely you're not going to see Nygma in combat, which leads on to his weakness, which I'll go into a minute. So again, player skill obviously counts around this, but try and not get him in combat because we'll go into the weaknesses now. His weakness, he's okay, standard for a free agent, attack 3, defense 3, endurance 6, not bad, but he's not combat. If someone, even if like a henchman with like one of like the Ringmaster or the Master of Ceremonies, I'm trying to think of anyone else, Snowy 5 or Snowy 3, I'm trying to think. Mule Goons from Black Mask's gang. Militia Brutes. Oh, sorry. Even people like High Security Henchmen, Little Spark, and obviously like combat characters like Victor Zaz or Deathstroke, Bane, etc. These people will rip him a new arsehole. I'm not going to lie to you. He's going to bend over and peck that soap so badly if he comes into contact in combat. Yes, it's nice having shock, but do not rely on your attack power, because it's nice, but if you want Riddler in combat, he's only there as a marker to outnumber an opponent. That's literally it. Or you've weakened an opponent or made an opponent's model spend so many counters that they can't defend themselves, meaning that Riddler can just go in, bonk them, not spend any more counters. That's the only reason why you want Riddler in combat. So already you've got a big strength and a big weakness, which is fair for his price and reputation. So how do you counteract the weakness? Well, again, like I say, you've got puzzles, you got Puzzle Master, you want to be taking Riddle objectives when you take the Riddler. You want to get those Riddle objectives as close as you can to the Riddler as possible. Next off, try and put your Riddle objectives in line of sight blocking terrain. As I've said, Riddler doesn't have a good defense against beatster characters. He doesn't have a good defense against range characters. If someone with an assault rifle targets Eddie and Eddie's out in the open, then you better pray he gets bad dice, or they get bad dice rolls. Because if they get like 2 hits with an assault rifle, that's bye-bye Eddie. And you don't want Eddie dying before he solves his riddles for you. You don't want that at all. Similarly, if you've got like someone like Deadshot for sniper rifle, or you've got like sniper rifles or any sort of firearm, even pistols. Pistols can really harm him. Shotguns can really harm him. They can take off willpower. He doesn't have a defense against anything willpowery. Sure, he can rearrange his counters, which is a big help. But if he gets Fear Toxin by Scarecrow's Fear Toxin, he's losing counters. He's not getting them back this turn at least. If he takes damage, he's losing more counters. Trickster can help you, but it can only help you so far. If you've taken so much damage that you've taken off like half his 2 points of willpower, yeah. Endurance 6, 2, 4, 6, yeah. So if he loses 2 points of willpower, he's on willpower 4. Which is nice. I say it's nice. It's standard for a weak henchman. You don't really want that on Riddler. So you got to keep him out of line of sight. You've got to put the puzzles as close as you can in line of sight blocking terrain towards Nygma. Best thing you can do as well is escort. Get a henchman. Depending on what the board layout is and what your opponent's brought, depends on what henchman you want to escort Eddie with. Because Eddie will need support. If someone like the Batman comes in to try and intervene with Riddler to get Riddler to solve his objectives, you're going to need a distraction. So you're going to need Riddler to debuff the Batman, send a weak henchman in, sell the weak henchman out as short, because if it's a weak henchman, he's going to get his arse ripped open by Batman. That's just how it goes, because it's Batman. So you're going to want to have Riddler while that's happening, you're going to want Riddler maneuvering around Batman, which you can with movement 3 plus sprint. And then as those two are fighting, maybe for a turn or two, solve the Riddle objectives. And remember, you only get 2, but 2's all you need. 2 with auto-solving 3 victory points can get you 6 victory points that game. 6 victory points, if I remember correctly, is roughly the equivalent to leader victory points when you kill them. It does set a big difference in the game. So have a go at that. But yeah. So I've said how to breach his weaknesses, I've said his strengths. If you don't pick Riddle objectives, I suppose it does allow flexibility for him to debuff, but again, just be mindful of your surroundings. Have him escorted around by one henchman, doesn't matter who. Just have a look at the board layout, have a look at what your opponent's brought. If you need a heavy hitter to combat against what he needs, then have a weak henchman around, or vice versa. Keep him in line of sight blocking terrain, keep him crouched at sometimes, because sometimes you will get an impassable line where you won't be able, to make it around. So that's all I can really say about Eddie. We've been through his weaknesses, been through how he plays. ultimately, my opinion is he's a good model. He was one of the first ones made for the Batman Miniatures game way back 5 years ago. And even now, he still stands a test of time. I mean, the game's grown. I won't say it's changed, but I think it has grown from its core fundamentals of being just Arkham City to a lot more broader sense, with including Gorilla Grodd now, LexCorp coming in, etc., etc. It is growing bigger. But the core fundamentals are the same. It's still not about trying to beat the living crap out of your opponent. It's still about being grounded on objectives, which I love. But even through 5 years, he's still a good... I know I'm repeating myself right now, but he is a good investment for his points. Definitely. Yeah, if, like I say, gangs he would really benefit from are beatstick gangs like Deathstroke or Bane. You can put him in other gangs. I mean, like I say, he goes in any gang perfectly. But he tends to synergize best against with beatstick characters, because you can debuff somebody, make them weaker, give your beatstick the advantage, send your beatstick in, reap in the profit, get in the rewards. You could put him with a gun gang, but you'd have to remember the fact that guns don't really care about disarray. They care about confusion to an extent, but they don't care as much as a beatstick character. So Penguin's a good example. Penguin can do combat-y, but if you want Riddler, take someone like the Lieutenant alongside, the new Lieutenant or model or something. Take a heavy beatstick character with that gang as well, to all the gear that you get. Because I can tell you now, if you play it the way I've told you to, well, if you play it the way I've advised you to, you're going to get some big victory points out of that, and he's going to be worth the 69 rep that he costs. So hope you've enjoyed this Arkham Files. If you liked what you see, or liked what you saw, and you want to see more, then don't hesitate to click the subscribe button and hit the notification button. If you want to talk about anything in the description section below, then please, in the comment section below, please comment below. I like talking to you all out there. And if you thought this would be helpful for any of your opponents who've got this model, or who are struggling to figure out this model, then please share the video around. The more the name gets out there, the better. So thank you for watching. This is the Warp Forge, signing out. And remember, keep on forging.